Like, so much of us are so focused on what supplements we're taking. Are we taking them at the right time of day? When are we eating? What are we eating? How many days a week are we working out? But when you start to, like, take a step back and really look at your light environment, it's, like, just as important, the timing of it, our bodies, our skin, our eyes, our brain. We literally have a nucleus inside of us that telling our body internally what time it is, and that communicates with just about every function of our bodies. Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of The Wellness Effect. This week, we are talking all about light environment, what it is, why we should be concerned about it, how we can kind of optimize it, how it impacts our bodies. There's a lot that goes into this topic, and we're going to kind of just try to cover the basics today with maybe a few extra little exciting tidbits in there. But what's really cool I just saw is that tomorrow is like circadian health day because it's 7/24, like 24/7,
Oh,
7/24. So this is like
fun.
perfect timing for our episode. So I'm super excited, but we have a little bit of catching up to do because I was gone last week.
Kira was in the woods.
I was living my best life in the woods, and I actually have a really cool story for you guys that I've been so excited and I've been holding back and not telling you. So I'm going to go first because I just
Yay.
need to talk
Yay.
about it. It's so cool. So we had this beautiful campsite in the middle of Saskatchewan, and Brett like did the thing, like Saskatchewan parks go on at like 6 a.m. It opens for the summer and you have to be like in the queue. Like it's literally like Taylor Swift tickets. Like you have to like be in the queue and get your spot. So he had like three, his cell phone, his tablet, and his computer like, in the queue to try get us a good site. It was amazing. I was, like woke up, like, an hour later, I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much." And actually, on a side note, I really wanted to do one of those reels where it's like, "Hey, I'm Brett, and I got up at 6 to book our campsite," and then me be like, "I'm Kira." And it's like, "I'm Brett. I filled the camper with water, got our get." Like, he just does literally everything, which is shout out Brett, love you.
Love that.
So we got this beautiful site. If anyone saw from my Instagram, it was like even better in person. We had like a little pathway that went right down to this like kind of a rocky beach. So we were like waterfront and then just massive trees everywhere surrounding us. No service. It was just so pristine and beautiful. So the first day I got up pretty early and like went out and I like set up my little chair down there. Brett had like solar lights. It was so cute. And I had like my coffee and my yogurt and my journal. I'm like, I'm just gonna have a nice little morning. And this is like something I've noticed with like being in nature, or maybe it's like the disconnection is that I start to get really, I feel really in touch with like the other side and, like, family members that we have passed away, like, I just start to get really, like, nostalgic, and I don't know if it was, like, the camping aspect of it, but I, like, think about our Uncle Brad so much, who passed away, I think it's, like, a year and a half ago now, and it just, like, we would camp with him a lot, like, anytime we'd see him, we were likely camping, and it was, like, the mornings with him having coffee are, like, one of my whew.
I'm like already crying. Okay.
Like, big memories of him, like, he always was up early, he always had the coffee on and, like, the biggest bottle of Baileys, and me and Lacey and Marina would, like, truck ourselves down there and, like, have our coffee with him, and I just start to, like, think about him so much, and I'm like, I have a lot of regret because he got sick and passed very suddenly, but we kinda knew, like, we sorta knew, we didn't really know, and I sent him a couple videos of Ellie, like, doing something funny, but I wish looking back that I would have texted him, like, what he meant to me and the impact that he had on my life because it was actually massive, and I think about it so much, and I'm always like, "Oh, I should write him a letter," or I should, like and I'm like, "I'll write him a letter today, and then I'll burn it this weekend while we're camping." I'm like, "He would just love it here." And then I'm like, "Well, there's a fire ban right now, so I can't burn this letter." So I'm like, "Maybe I should just, like, write a letter and break it up into really small pieces and throw it into the lake," or I don't know. So I'm like, "Or Kira, like, you could just be like, don't be such a pussy and just, like, talk to him, like, say it out loud." So I'm, like, sitting down there, it's, like, 7 in the morning. The lake is, like, calm glass. I haven't seen an animal. I haven't seen or heard another person around me at all. Like, there's nothing. There's nothing anywhere. And I just go, like, work up the courage, and I'm like, "Hey, Uncle Brad," and, like, my voice cracks, and I start to cry, and a loon like, pops up out of the water, literally right in front of me, like, 6 feet off the shoreline. I don't know where it came from, like, I didn't see it swimming out before we could see almost the whole lake from our site. It just, like, popped up right in front of me, did, like, a perfect loon call, which is the most, like, haunting, beautiful sound ever, and then it just dove back under the water, and, like, I didn't see it again, and I was like,
Holy
"Holy."
shit, Kira.
That's
It was
freaking we're gonna have to send this episode to Gigi and get her to listen to the first.
I
Well,
know.
Yeah.
feel free to stick around, Gigi, if you are
Yeah.
listening,
You
but
wanna learn about light environment, but
Wow, that's insane.
it was just like I just sat there and then cried for, like, an hour and just was like I just felt this, like he's like, "Kira, I know, like, you don't have to stress and worry about, like, not telling me,
And
and,
hold
like,
on to that.
just, like, it's okay," and I'm like, "Holy shit." So then that was just, like, the coolest way to start the little trip, and, like, every time we saw a loon after that, I was just like, "Hmm, this is so cool."
Oh my god, that is
So,
so
isn't that
crazy.
well, and
wild?
you even posted that one picture and you're like, "Hi, little orbit," because there is, like, a little orbit in the
Little
picture.
orb, yeah. Yeah, so that was just, like, such a cool thing, and then I told when I was telling Brett, I, like, cried again, I just he was like, "Kira, that's crazy." I'm like, "Okay, is it, or is that just, like, me being woo woo?" He's like, "No, that's crazy," because it was just, like, instant, like, "Hey, Uncle Brad," and then just bloop. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
No, that's so
It was
I,
so
like,
cool.
literally watched a TikTok last night. Zach looks over at me, he's like, "What's wrong?" I'm, like, crying. But she was pretty much saying just that. She said, like, how she, like, read because she lost, I think, her kid or something, and someone died that was close to this girl on TikTok. I don't know who it was, and she just said, like, "I would just read all of these books about, like, the other side," and they all just said, like, "Just ask for a very clear sign that
Wow.
they're there with you," or whatever, and so she's like, "I just asked to see, like, a red block of Lego," like, it was so specific because that's, like, what he always loved, and then she, like, went to her daughter's class lesson, and then at that class lesson, this little kid that she didn't know and never seen, and she, like, figured out it was totally just by chance that that kid was there with his mom that day, like, they're not normally there or whatever, and he, like, the kid came up to her and handed her a singular red
Shut
Lego the
up.
day that she asked that, and I was like,
Oh
"That's
my
just crazy," but
gosh.
it's true, they are there. Oh my gosh, I have, like, full on
Mhm.
goosebumps.
I know, same,
Yeah,
they haven't gone away.
it was
Well,
so
Oh,
cool,
well,
so
that's
I was
such a
so
cool
grateful.
story.
Yeah,
yeah, Uncle
just, like,
Brad was
was
just the best.
he
That is a
was.
cool story.
So, yeah, that's my
Wow.
little
Okay,
update.
well,
Our trip was also amazing, and yeah, what'd you guys get up to?
Um, well, it was my birthday last week. So I celebrated by I actually had dinner at Matt's parents' place, which was really nice. They always like since I've started dating Matt, like it was like well, actually our anniversary is on the like my birthday. And so I was like not even officially like dating him at the time. And that the very first year they like have this like big dinner and get like a cake for me and put up like decorations. They're just so great. Seriously, like my family, so considering my family isn't in Vancouver. So we did that on the Thursday night, and then Friday I went to visit, I was in Edmonton for a wedding, and then we celebrated with some of my girlfriends on Friday too, so that was really nice, and it was a pretty chill weekend. The wedding was, like, beautiful. It rained randomly on the Saturday of the wedding, but it didn't really impact the wedding, but I was saying to Matt, like, in Edmonton, that's not really, like, common, like, it'll rain at night after, like, a really hot day, but it's not like we just get random days of rain, but apparently it's good luck if it rains, so on your wedding, so that's was fine, but I'm trying to think of what else. Honestly, not a lot. I was seriously saying to Matt this morning, Kira, I was telling him how we were like off the grid for 10 days. And I was saying, I feel like with the line of work that we're in, that's actually how you need to have a vacation because it's the only way you'll actually make yourself disconnect from everything. So just, I was so jealous of that. It just looked so nice.
Yeah, it was cool to just, like, have no service, I'm like and you could get, like, satellite and text where it's so crazy, I don't know if you guys have done this, where if you don't have service on the iPhones now, if you, like, walk out and go into your text messages, it's like, "Use satellite," and then you have to, like, follow the satellite with your phone to, like, send a text, so, like, everybody I
What the
was with was
hell?
like yeah, it was free, it was wild, but everybody I was with was, like, doing that and checking their text messages. I'm like, "Not a fucking chance I'm doing that. I'm staying off my phone," so it was
Good, I'm proud of you. I was wondering how it was gonna go because I know obviously just with our job, it's, like, hard, but I feel like you get to a point where that's literally all you want. Like, I feel like if it's if I have the option, disconnecting is not hard for me anymore. It's just so
yeah,
hard to actually disconnect, you know what I
yeah,
mean? If that makes
yeah,
sense?
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel like once I'm like, my phone is away, then my phone is away. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'm
okay.
like,
But no, that's awesome. What did I do this weekend? Not much. Got ripped apart by white men in my comment section, and that's pretty much it.
white men that have probably never had a girlfriend and hate women in particular, so it's
We were
fine.
just talking about this before we started the podcast, you guys, but I have been putting in some extra work with my content and it is working. It's actually crazy. We've reached 3.3 million accounts in the last 30 days. I had 2
Holy
videos hit a million in the last month, and which is just crazy because I was like reflecting over it. I'm like, I've had 6 videos go over a million, and my first one was in like summer of 2022. So I've had 6 in the last 3 years and 2 of them were in this last month. So I'm really starting to feel like I'm getting the hang of this after 12 years of posting fitness content. But it's really cool. But obviously, with that, yes, you get a lot of good fans. But my kind of idea going in with this content of like taking my content to the next level is I feel like I've played it safe for so long and just like don't want to piss anyone off because very early on in my coaching career, I got called out by a very high up guy in the industry and pretty much said I didn't know what I was talking about. And so since then, I was just like ever scared to say anything that was like slightly controversial or my opinion or anything. Like I just kept it very PG-13. And I think just getting into the functional place in general makes us kind of put ourselves out there because there's a lot of people who don't necessarily agree or have the lack of knowledge around what we do. And so it puts us out there a little bit. But I just told myself, I invested in this guy. I was like, okay, I'm just going to start actually sharing my opinion. Like, if I would say it to my friends, I'm going to say it to him, and I don't care if it goes on the internet. So, anyways, I had this one viral post, and I'm talking about how hard it is to put on muscle, and men in the comment section are just calling me fat and saying that I don't train and that I have no idea what I'm talking about. And it was just, it's funny, but that's why I made that joke. Give you guys a little
Yeah,
bit of
you guys might be
context.
like,
But
"Wow, why are they laughing about that? That's really fucked up." But it's because we know it's not true, and the men that are commenting it are
yeah, well,
just,
and
like,
I was even telling
insecure and
them
gross.
too, I was like, I would way rather get beat up and commented about on my body versus my brain. So I'm like, I can handle this because I'm confident in how I look. And I'm like, I don't really care what you guys are saying. I know I'm jacked, okay? Like, I know it. Um, but yeah, no, I didn't really do much this weekend. We just kind of worked. We're getting prepped for our little off the grid weekend this weekend. So we're going to a music fest in the middle of nowhere, and there is actually a little bit of reception, but I can't see myself being on my phone that much. So we're going to Shambhala, if you've recognize it. But I'm so excited. I've literally wanted to go to this festival since I was in university because a lot of my university friends used to go to it. And so I'm really excited. It's going to be a little bit of a marathon, but can't wait to share with you guys next
gonna
week
be
about
so
the
fun. Hopefully,
shenanigans
it's
we get up
just
to.
smoking hot, and
Is it smoking hot?
I said hopefully it's just smoking hot and, like, tons of fun, and you guys have lots of
Yeah,
water
no, it's gonna
packs
be it's good, and
and
we have
snacks.
such, like, the best crew ever, and I feel like our friend group is really just, like, finalized in the last year and a half, and we just always have the best time together, and we have, like, couple good couples, couple good singles, and we just all are on the same wavelength, and
Nice.
it's gonna be really fun, so
You guys are literally all the same, just in, like, different fonts. Like, it's actually crazy that you found each other because you guys are all so similar in, like, the best way possible. Like, just, like,
That's so
nice
funny.
and chill, but, like to have fun. So that's so cool. And it's
No,
also
it's
cool
good.
to hear that, like, you can get that, like, in your 30s, you know what I mean? So, that's nice.
Yeah. No, because I didn't really feel like I had a solid group of friends here for, like, the first 2 or 3 years, but I think We just I knew a lot of guys when I moved here, and those guys they were just, like, single and crazy, and so we would have, like, our groups, and we would have fun together, but it was never like, "Oh, let's do Easter dinner together," because all of the guys are single, and we were all single, really, but then it's like as soon as a couple of the key players got in relationships, we all just, like, kinda came together, and it's just been really fun over the last
All of a
year,
sudden,
year
you're
and a half,
carving
so
pumpkins together and, like
yeah, yeah,
like, "Wait."
just doing friend stuff. But no, we're excited, so it should be good, but that's it. So, my circadian rhythm, my light I always call it
I
circadian.
know. I was like, "Okay, let's stop that right now."
Circadian rhythm is gonna be a little messed up because 'cause we're gonna be having late nights and late mornings, but
Good
let's
transition.
segue. So, light environment. Kier, you wanna maybe start us off with what is light
What the
environment or
heck
light
is it?
hygiene or
Yeah, I think, gosh, it's like such a to me, it's like such a big topic, but it's just our relationship with light. Like, so much of us are so focused on, like, what supplements we're taking. Are we taking them at the right time of day? When are we eating? What are we eating? How many days a week are we working out? But when you start to, like, take a step back and really look at your light environment, it's, like, just as important, the timing of it, our bodies, our skin, our eyes, our brain. We literally have a nucleus inside of us that I can't say it, so I'm not even gonna try. It's on Finding Nemo, it's like the super seismic nucleus, but I just can't say it. I tried to say it so many times,
Is
and
that
it,
not how
like
you say it?
is it? I don't
I
know,
don't know.
it's
I don't wanna go down this
supersonic
path.
funky fresh?
no. Hypnotic okay. But and it is, like, taking in the sunlight and the rays and the different timing of it during the day and telling our body internally what time it is, and that communicates with just about every function of our body, so I think just from a really basic standpoint, this is, like, getting sunlight in the morning, and then a lot of us are, like, really like, us 3 are probably in the high end of, like, being on screens all day. Um, so it's just the way that basically we are in contact with light throughout the day. That's kind of what it is. But yeah, talking about why it's so important, I think, is just like I had mentioned, all of these different what's the word I'm trying to think of? Actions,
Systems,
systems in our body are very
Reactions.
reactions, all of these things are very tied to light. Everything from like our hormone production, like even down to things like FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone. These are very directly connected to our light environment. Our blood sugar metabolism, which we consider a foundation of wellness and health, is directly connected to the rays of the sun.
and it's just, like, even something to remind yourself of, I think, is this always why it resonates with me, is if you think about, like, the last 100 years, how much our environments have changed as humans, but humans were like, for so long, we were outside almost 100% of the time, and there was no artificial light anywhere. There was no buildings, there's no blue light, there's no phone, there's no laptop, computer, iPads. And now we pretty much never get natural light. Like, I mean, us three probably do more so than most people, but especially people like living in big cities. It's they are always inside. They always have that bright overhead lights. They're always in front of blue light. As soon as you go outside, the first reaction for every single person is put your sunglasses on. And so we went from being these humans who are outside all of the time, always in touch with our light environment, our circadian rhythm, and now we're like completely artificial light 100% of the time for a lot
Yeah.
of people. And so I think it's just important to think of that too, right? As like how much our environments have changed, which is why no, your grandparents or your great grandparents probably weren't super concerned with their light environment and they didn't need to be. But now it's just like everything is that much worse and artificial. And so, yeah, just a good
Well, and there's
reminder.
different wavelengths of light, and we're meant to
Mhm.
get them all kind of like together in the full spectrum. So, what we're seeing with screens and phones and tablets and TVs is like basically just blue light, which is one small piece of the spectrum. And that's supposed to be very high, like midday. So, if our body's seeing that blue light at the end of the day when we're supposed to be winding down and going to bed, it's like, oh, we're getting ready to like, have lunch and live the rest of the day not getting ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, and I think that and we'll touch on this, is it's just I think it's good to look at it as the foundation for health in other ways, like Kira was saying, it, like, plays a role in your hormone production, it plays a role in your blood sugar, it plays a role in your, obviously, sleep, melatonin, cortisol production, and so when you look at it that way, it's really like another foundation for your health because light and those different UV rays, whether it's UVA or UVB, are all giving our cells and our ATP like energy the same way that food is. And so the way we talk about food giving our body energy in order to do its basic tasks and perform at a high rate, that's the exact same thing with energy from the sun and different UV rays, right?
Yeah, and this is something me and Jensen just talked about yesterday is that blue light actually slows down that ATP production, which is like the food for our cells and our mitochondria, which is literally how we like live a long life. So when we have more excessive blue light, this just blew my mind. Our cells utilize less glucose and we're going to see higher spikes in blood glucose when we just have blue light. So that is, like, what when when we tell you guys, like, "Get off your phone while you're eating, get off your computer while you're eating, like, go outside." I think we saw that stat, it's like you're 43% more balanced blood sugar if you, like, eat a meal outside or something like that, and that's exactly why, is that the from a cellular standpoint, our body is, like, utilizing our food better when we have the right light environment, so it's just
Wow,
mind-blowing.
that's crazy. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've heard that stat and I repeat it, but I never really I was like, "Is that true? We gotta test that. That seems extreme," but that makes so much sense. That's crazy. So especially those who are insulin resistance diabetic, it's like that much more important to focus on your light environment. That's wild.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Yeah, it would be interesting to take a CGM and, like, test it and see because it's just everyone's response is so different to, like, glucose and insulin, so that's obviously, like, the average. I just wonder if it would work better for people that are insulin resistant or if it wouldn't have enough of a impact to make a difference for people that are insulin resistant, but the people that have normal insulin levels, normal blood glucose levels, if that would be more of that.
Yeah.
I went, like, on a deep dive on this yesterday, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, and it was like they shone blue light on people's eyes and then fed them glucose,
Yeah.
and their levels were, like, instantly diabetic, and then if they gave them, like, red light therapy before they ate and the same amount of glucose, they managed it fine.
Interesting. I
It
should try
was,
that with my CGM.
yeah, so
That's
cool.
crazy. That's so cool. Um, okay, so should we maybe kind of start with some maybe more of the foundation of light environment, kind of like first things
Or maybe
people should
should we talk about before, like, signs that you should start paying attention to
Yeah,
it?
let's do that.
And then we can kinda go into tools. So I'll start, and then we can kinda riff from there, but I think a very easy, obvious example would be if your sleep is disrupted or if you are having, like, low energy throughout the day, that is a really, really good place to start. I think a lot of people think that the light and we're actually talking about this on our open office hours yesterday with our clients, and we asked, like, what's something that's small that has made a really big difference, and that's what I said is because I think it's really easy to be like, "Oh, there's no way that, like, watching a show before bed or having on my, like, overhead lights in my house or my apartment is gonna impact my sleep or, impact my energy levels the next day," and it's really insane what paying attention to it and specifically not scrolling on your phone does to your sleep quality and how you feel the next morning, and the main reason why is because that blue light impacts our melatonin and our cortisol production. So, our circadian health and our light environment are obviously very tied together. And so, if you have a poor light environment, you're going to have poor circadian rhythm, which is that body's internal clock, which is that cortisol production being at its highest first thing in the morning and your melatonin production being the highest before you kind of as you go to sleep. And so when our light environment is not great, not optimal, it's going to impact our energy level, our cortisol production, which is going to impact our estrogen, progesterone. So, um, just to tie it back, your sleep quality and your energy levels, that's a really good place if you're struggling with either of those, getting really diligent with your light environment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
think
just to
that.
kind of go off of that, because I think a lot of times we think, oh, melatonin is just like the sleep hormone and that's all it's doing. But like what Jensen was saying, our sleep is a really powerful time of healing. It's like where we like T cells replicate and we have autophagy happening and like real detoxification. And also our gut health is really linked to melatonin, and it's a marker typically on a lot of gut health tests, like functional tests, is looking at melatonin, and it gives us an idea of like infection levels in the gut. So if your melatonin is spiking at the wrong point, it's actually a sign that your gut health is off. So that can be vice versa too, is that if you're improperly viewing light and spiking your melatonin, it's going to disrupt the whole cycle. There are literal gut bacteria. Akkermansia is one of our faves to talk about, and it is signaled by melatonin and does most of its work at night, and it's also very responsible for weight loss, blood sugar management. So that's a really cool part of like the melatonin picture, because I think a lot of us think melatonin's just for sleep, but it's like regulates inflammation. Yeah, so I love that one. That's my
Yeah.
fave.
And I think even to just kinda help you guys understand it, like, if we I don't wanna say, like, dumb it down, but again, it's like going back to back in the day when we're living outside all of the time, right? So we watch the sunrise come up. We don't have clocks or anything yet, so we don't know what time it is, but we watch the sunrise come up, and then it's brightest kind of midday, and then it goes down, and so that tells our body when to based on, like, where the sun is, it's like, "Okay, we're gonna release." When you first see the sun, that starts signals to release the cortisol, which is gonna give you that energy in the morning that we want. It's good. And then it also tells you, okay, in like 12 to 14 hours, we're going to start to release melatonin so that you can fall asleep and then you have a good sleep and that we can do all of that. And so when you're constantly with blue light, that thinks midday. And so if you're staring at your phone right before you go to sleep, your body, your internal clock is like, "Oh, it's midday. Like I'm not supposed to be tired right now." And so that's why you had trouble to fall asleep. So hopefully that kind of helps you guys understand a little bit more. Um yeah, did that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
and it's I think it's always so cool to look at it from an evolutionary standpoint, because people are like, "Okay, like, that's what our ancestors did," but it's literally how we got to be who we are and how we survived was because of light. And even if we had, like, fires late at night, they were mostly that's a red light spectrum piece of light. So, um, we didn't just, like, get here for no reason. It's because of that evolution, and then that's why we've survived and that's why we've thrived. So I think it's frustrating to be like, "What, I have to live literally like a caveman," but it's also really cool because you can just adapt and kind of, like, hack your life a little bit, and it doesn't have to be super complicated, and we will go into, like, little tips and tricks. It can actually be pretty simple, but I was just reading too about this, that we were the most susceptible to, like, danger first thing in the morning because 'cause we're just waking up, we're, like, peeking out of our cave, like, "What was watching me all night? Who's around? Like, I don't know, I haven't eaten yet." So we have to have all this cortisol when we first wake up to, like, get us to the point where we can eat something and the light comes on so that we can, like, run or whatever, run away. So it's just, like, cool to know the little evolutionary pieces of it, I think.
Yeah. No, I think that that's great because we just haven't even been living in this type of environment for a long well, we do know the impacts of it because all diseases are at an all-time high, and we have more research and more information than ever. So it's like, okay, some's gotta give here.
I know I always hear people this is a little bit of a side tangent. I always hear people being like, "Well, lifespan was a lot lower," and I was just reading about this in that Good Energy book last night. Is yeah, lifespan was lower for, like, cavemen and in, like, the 1900s and the 1800s, but it was because of, like, acute things that, like, if you don't fix this right now, you're going to die. So, like, if your appendis what is it?
Appendix.
Appendix.
Bursts or whatever that is, or you, like, I don't know,
Well,
break
people
your
were also
back.
just, like, throwing their shit into the street and then walking in it, like,
Yes,
everyone was getting
exactly.
infected,
But
dying.
apparently it was, like a lot of it was, like, those acute things that, like, you need to deal with this now, and we didn't have those medical interventions, but
Yeah.
so, yes, like, our lifespan was lower, like Kira also said, like, we were, like, not washing our hands and, like, eating, like, n unwashed shit, so but the amount of, like, diseases and infections that have, like, developed over time, like Lacey just said, are at an all-time high, so we can't it's just that argument bothers me so much when people are like, "Well, why would we do what our cavemen did?" Like, the cavemen did, like, they only lived, like, 40 years. It's like, okay, we're not saying do the exact same thing, but why can't there ever be, like, a balance between the
Yeah,
2?
like, there were saber-toothed tigers eating
Yeah,
them
Exactly.
back
like
then.
Yes.
literally.
Exactly. Anyways,
Ah,
that was just a side tangent I wanted to
No, I
include
love
because I
that.
think everyone's head kinda goes there when you talk about that stuff, not everyone's, but if you have a little bit of skepticism about the woo-woo stuff, then it's not even woo-woo, but it's good just to, like, mention that, and when I read that last night, because I never know what to say to people when they say that, and I'm like, "Well, well," and that's I'm like, "That makes so much sense," so I just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, and just to go off, talk a little bit more about, like, some symptoms that light environment might be a little bit off for you. I think it's honestly going to be just about anything because, like I said, or like Lacey said, or someone said, one of us, we're all the same mind at this point. Every like system in our body is literally connected to and told what to do by the light. And we all know so much comes back to our gut health. We're also, like, able to process things mentally at night when it's dark and we're in our little dream space. So, like, even, like, mental health, fertility is a huge, huge, huge one. Melatonin is very protective to, like, eggs and sperm, and we need that at nighttime. So, I think just, like, taking a step back and knowing that it's foundational instead of, like, looking for a symptom that, "Oh, my sleep's off, so it must be my circadian rhythm." They are very tied, of course, those 2 are, like, number 1, but just about everyone with any symptom is going to benefit from optimizing their light environment, so, yeah.
yeah,
Even if
and
you
even
don't
if your
think you
symptoms
have a
haven't
symptom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Same brain.
We were gonna say, even if you don't have symptoms yet, you should still optimize because we weren't built for this, you guys. We were
Yeah.
not built for these environments. So, yeah, so pretty much any symptom that you experience is a good chance it's linked to your SIR or your light environment and that you'll benefit from it. But yeah, it's a lot of like the normal cortisol issues that you hear, the tired but wired at night, um, shitty sleeps, any gut
Blood sugar
issues, digestion
imbalances,
issues,
Mhm.
fertility issues, gut issues,
the whole the whole
energy,
shebang.
mental health, bloating, because our gut has that clock too,
Mhm.
so
Yeah. So, okay. So now you might probably realize you need to work on your light environment. So, what are ways that we can do that maybe from like a beginner
Yeah.
standpoint? I think the easiest ones are just well, I don't know if I would say the easiest ones, but where I started was just same bedtimes. Same bedtime every single day and waking up at the same time. So that makes a big difference, and just starting to remove or limit the blue light that you're seeing, especially in those hours leading up till bedtime. That's kinda where I started, so we were talking about this also on our open office hour last night, but it's kinda just asking yourself, what are you doing those 3 hours before you go to bed? Are you someone who normally reads a book? And so if you're more reading a book in a paper book fashion, then maybe it's worth investing more so in, like, your overhead lights and buying the red light bulbs that we all have codes to and stuff. If you want, we'll link them in the caption. But if you're someone who more watches TV or is scrolling on your phone or whatever, then maybe it's better to invest in the blue light blocking glasses. Um, Sarah, our other coach, shared a good tidbit information about that, and I can't remember, but I remember the number was like 450 or something. Or do you guys
NPF
remember what she
maybe?
said?
NN or
NPF?
I feel like
Pretty
it's
much the red
400.
glasses have a number rating, and you want it to be above 450, I think was the number. And we can't remember what we were measuring with that, so don't quote us on that.
It's
Um,
just the amount of blue light that they block.
yeah, it's just the amount of blue light that they block. So I usually just say, like, if you spend around $100, $120, usually those are the ones that are better quality. So it's not something that you want to cheap out on because usually if they do, they're just colored glasses. They're not actually blocking the blue light, but we also all have codes for that. So we'll put those in the show notes. But that's kind of where I started. So same bedtime and then buying orange glasses, changing kind of my light environment. But what would you guys say were your first ones that you started to do?
I think that was, like, a fun one to start. It feels cool to, like, get the red light glasses, but I would say the most one of the most I'm gonna argue most important, cheapest, best bang for your buck is to just step outside as soon as you wake up in the morning or as soon as the sun rises, like,
Yeah, no
I'm in
phone in the morning. That was actually probably the first thing I did. You're right.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's true. Shoot, okay, we'll do that one next, but this is one of my favorites too because people love to overcomplicate this. Like, "Well, I can't go for a walk, like, my kids are sleeping and I'm getting ready for work." I literally take my toothbrush out onto my deck and just brush my teeth on my deck. I'm not adding any this doesn't take any extra time in my day. I just leave my toothbrush on my kitchen counter and walk out there, and in the wintertime, like, I'm in Saskatchewan, it feels like it doesn't get light until, like, fucking noon, I swear to God. You just have to kinda be conscious of when the sun starts to rise. That's the UVA light. That is what's really telling our body and our circadian rhythm and all of our systems, like, boom, the sun is rising. I am waking up. My motility in my gut is turning on. I'm going to need to start digesting food. I'm going to need to start, managing my blood sugar, so many different things. So just getting it can be literally 2 minutes. And then if you can, at some point, like, a walk in that early time as well is, like, really, really great, but I know that's just not the case for some people, but, like, park your car farther away from your office and walk a little bit farther, or walk to get your mailbox first thing in the morning instead of after work, like, there's just small little ways that we can kind of incorporate this one, so that's gonna be mine.
Yeah, and the same thing goes with, like, even in the middle of the day, like, it's also important for, like, energy and everything is that sun in the middle of the day, you don't need as much or as long, but just don't think if you went out first thing in the morning, you can, like, stay inside for the rest of the day, that's also not great.
Yes, because we're not producing vitamin D until the sun is, like, higher in the sky, so we still need that light, which is probably a whole other podcast episode,
Yeah.
but it's still beneficial, and our body's constantly looking for cues as to what time it is during the day, and sunlight is just what
The
gives us
easiest.
that cue,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'll do no phone in the morning, and I'll tie it to no phone at night, which is definitely, I'd say, of the 2 harder. I think they're honestly equal for me, I think it just depends, but the first thing I did was just stop bringing my phone into my bedroom. There are some times, like, on the weekend and stuff where I'm not, like, perfect with this, don't get me wrong, but during the week, no questions asked, like, at 8 p.m., my phone's on the kitchen island, and I don't look at it after that. So and then that really helps with, like, not even having the option to scroll first thing in the morning. I think a lot of people overcomplicate that a little bit, and they're like, "Well, I just that's how I wake up," but the easiest thing you can do is not have it in your room. Just even if you plug it right outside your room if you need the alarm. Something else
You can
to
get an alarm clock for $10 on Amazon.
exactly, exactly. Something else I would say with that is in terms of like timing, just start really slow. And so a good way to start, and this is something I really try to do, is when I didn't go on my phone in the morning, if you just make your first goal, okay, I'm allowed to go on my phone after I step outside and get natural sunlight. It can be cloudy out, it can be raining, you're still going to get those benefits. Then that can be your first thing. And then at one point, you're going to be like, okay, I don't even want to look at my phone until after I have breakfast, after I've been outside, after everything's kind of settled. But that's a really good place to start. And then in terms of not going on your phone at night, once again, that blue light is going to suppress melatonin production and increase cortisol production is same thing, just finding a substitution. And I know it can be hard, but trying to opt for reading or coloring or going for a walk at night or just like connecting with your partner or hanging out with your kid, whatever that might be, is the easiest way to do it, because if you just say, "I'm not gonna go on my phone," and you don't have that
Plan.
substitution, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, and I love that, and something I tell my clients to do is, like to do too, is set yourself up a little bit for the next day, and there's, like, no better feeling than that, like, lay your clothes out, fill up your water bottle, maybe pack a few snacks and tuck them into your fridge, and make your nettle tea for the morning and, like, pick out your kid's outfit, like, it doesn't take that long, and it's such a multi-level win, I feel like, those things. Um,
And it just,
so
like you also told me this, Kira, when you're doing those things, like, thinking in your brain, like, "Okay," like, taking those deep breaths, like, I'm winding down, sending those signals to your body and, like, subbing it out. Even last night, my skincare, I just, like, took my time, I dry brushed, like, it took me, like, probably 25 minutes because I wasn't, like, speeding through it, and that can
Mhm.
even be your alternative. It doesn't need to be, but I know how hard it is, like, getting into bed and being like, "Okay, I'm closing my eyes now, I'm going to sleep even though I haven't done anything." So that's where I need to read, I need something, and then I just have, like, a little red light reading light, and that's what I use with my not iPad or phone. I'm not reading on those things. I'm reading on a paperback book. If you have a Kindle, just get red light glasses and use that. And you can put it on lower red light too.
Yeah, because Kindles, I don't think are blue light,
They're
right?
like, they have some blue light, but you can turn it to a setting where it's less. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I think, right?
Yeah. And I think just more as you work on nervous system regulation, it gets easier because a lot of us kind of rely on our phone or whatever that evening distraction is because that's the first time in the day where we're like, huh, okay, like now that's when a lot of people get those racing thoughts or whatever it is. And so you can feel like you need that distraction. I remember I used to talk about that with my therapist all of the time is like, it was important for me to have some like something emotional or physical to do in the evening because that's when I would kind of like spiral or get anxious or do whatever. And so that's when he would like recommend the coloring or the journaling or the reading or I think he told
Oh,
me to start an
interesting.
instrument at one point, but like something not emotional, that's not the right word, but maybe creativity.
Well, we wanna feel productive, and it's where, okay, like, I got back home from work, and I picked up my kids, and I made supper, and I got and now it's like, uh, and then what do I do? And we feel like we don't have value because we're not constantly productive until the second that we close our eyes, so maybe it's, like, something to do with that.
Yeah. And I think too, if you like struggle to fall asleep with just like sitting there and closing your eyes, then it's probably because you did go from task to task to task all day and you didn't like create any space for you to think. So then that's kind of when a lot of our thoughts just catch up to us and then we can't sleep and we sit in bed and we're that tired but wired feeling and it's all connected, which is always just a blessing and a curse, but yeah, it's important. I'm like trying to think of what else is good for light environment. So we
I have
have
another one I can
you
talk
have
about.
one, you can go.
And I think we were kind of touching on sunglasses, but just like try to open windows. So full spectrum light is so interesting, and this is a topic that I'm just starting to like dabble in, but it's non-linear. So even having just your windows open, you don't have to be like staring at the sun. Your skin can still like get the rays on it, which is so cool. So, like, when I wake Ellie up in the morning, I'm like right now in the summer, I'm opening her window, so she's getting that, like, UVA sun on her skin, the windows are open in our house. When I'm driving, I try to have the windows open as much as I can, and then, like, the main way that we get that symbol of sunlight is through our eyes. It's, like, 50% more than our skin. So just taking breaks from sunglasses if you're wear or we were talking about this on our group call this morning. It can be really hard to not wear sunglasses, and we've all worn them since we were little kids. Like, some of the first gifts I was given for Ellie and things that I bought for her were sunglasses, and I'm like, "Of course, babies need sunglasses. Oh my gosh," but no, they don't. Well, anyway, that might get me in trouble, but they don't. I would say if you're having, like, a long day on the boat while you're staring at the sun glinting off the water all day long, maybe you should wear some sunglasses, but on a typical daily basis, like, our eyes want to see that sunlight. So just, like, starting to take mini breaks from your sunglasses, letting the natural sunlight hit your eyes, and just, like, having windows open as much as you can, which I think is just so cool that it can just, like, come in. Because most of our windows now, I think that's important to note, block all of the rays. The windows that they've created block it all, so you can sit there and feel like, "Oh, I'm getting sunlight because 'cause I'm looking at the sun through my window," but it's, like, fully blocking because it will stain our furniture and, make our paint fade, so we don't want that in our day-to-day life anymore, I guess, so that's why the windows do that, but
And just a clarification, she's not saying, like, stare directly at the sun at
No.
12 PM every day in case people try to come for us. She's
No,
saying,
you won't
like
be.
she's saying just don't wear sunglasses at all times of the day.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
take breaks and just be
Yeah,
aware of it, right? Because like I said in the beginning, it's like our first reaction anytime we go outside, anytime it's a little bit like, ugh, my eyes, it's like, boom, sunglasses. And the more you wear them, the more you need them. And so Kira even shared on our call this morning that like it took her 2 years to be able to go no sunglass because she has blue eyes. So usually if you have lighter eyes, it's a little bit harder. But even something else about seeing the sun is our body has like a natural UV protection, like a natural sunscreen kind of is how I would explain it, and it's so melanin is like a pigment in your skin, and based on how your eyes, like, get the sun in it, it knows how much to release, and so it will protect you from getting sunburned, which is crazy. So we all go outside, we put on our sunglasses, and then our body doesn't really realize, like, "Oh, I'm outside," and so it doesn't produce that natural protection, and it will you will get less burnt if you don't wear sunglasses. So it's just
in
so
the
interesting
morning
to when you think about that.
specifically. So if you can, like, get out in the
Yeah.
morning and get that sunlight in the morning,
Yeah,
that's
because it's the
gonna
UVA, I think.
or
The UVA
UVB in
with
the
no
morning.
UVB, yeah, primes your skin, and actually makes the midday sun, like, less damaging, which is so
Yeah,
Yeah,
because UVA is
so cool.
always A for always. That's
yeah.
how I
Yeah,
remember it.
and then B is, like,
Um,
that window during from,
yeah,
like
the
right
window
now,
when
it's
it's
from,
like
like,
the vitamin D.
9:30. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just so interesting, and
Mhm.
so which it makes sense because our bodies are so smart, you guys are doing so many things without us even realizing it or thinking about it, and it just needs to see the freaking sun every now and then. So, yeah, you'll need less sunscreen, which is also a blessing, but
Well, and also you just have to be smart about it. Like, there are people with fair skin that I always like to do this disclaimer, like, don't just, like, think you can view the sun first thing in the morning and then sit out when the UV is the highest at 1 PM and think you're not gonna get burnt because you are. Like, you can go out in the morning and that's when it's not as strong. You're probably not gonna get burnt. You're gonna get those signals. And then just having more of that, like, physical protection, like sitting more in the shade in the middle of the day and not being an idiot, like, you probably
Yeah.
are able to not burn without sunscreen, and there's gonna be days, especially the people with more fair skin, where you do all the things. If you're sitting on the boat in the middle of this day, in the middle of the summer, yes, put on sunscreen. Don't be, once again, an idiot, but there are gonna be times when you can avoid wearing sunscreen, and this is someone 2 of these people on this podcast have very fair skin and used to burn all
Mhm.
the time and have found a way to, like, find that in between, and an example is a lot of the times I'm not wearing sunscreen in the middle of the day on, like, a random Tuesday, but the other weekend we went and, like, we're paddle boarding in no shade. It was, like, the hottest day of the year so far with and I wore sunscreen because I knew if I set myself up for that, I would be burning if I were to just be, like, soaking on water all day long, and so it's a whole other episode, but it's just about finding what works for you.
yeah, because I think
Yeah.
the more in touch you get with your light environment too, and if you're actually prioritizing getting outside and getting that sunlight in the middle of the day, you aren't gonna burn that bad. Like it's actually a thing, and that's what it is. It's not that we get too much sun and it burns us. It's that we deprive ourselves of sun all year, and then we go out and we go paddleboarding on the hottest day of the year and we don't protect ourselves at all. And we're like, oh, it's fine. But if you, because even you, Kira, right? It's like as soon as you started going out in the sun and not being scared of it, and now you're the most tanned I've ever seen you, right? Like it's, yeah,
Yeah, like, I don't burn anymore. I'm like, "Who am I? What's going on?" I thought I was, like, the burn queen. But I will wear sunscreen, same as, like, what Jensen said, if we're having a boat day, if it's, like, the hottest day of the summer and I'm spending the day at the beach with my kids, I'll, like with my kid, I'll put it, like, on my shoulders and my ears. Like, and I
Yes,
don't
like,
even
if you're
put it on
going to
my chest.
Mexico.
If I'm in Mexico, a Vegas pool party, I'm gonna wear
Yes.
sunscreen.
yeah. But it's just giving, like, letting your body have smaller increments of sun to kind of build up that resiliency to the sun. I don't know,
It's called a
but
solar callus.
mhm.
Mhm.
And it
It's
even
a
goes
real
back to
thing.
that melanin thing, now that I'm thinking about it, because fair melanin is that pigment in your skin, so fair skinned people have less of that natural protection. So
Ex
interesting.
exactly, and that's why fair people do have to be 'Cause there is a genetic component of it, like, you can't just change your skin tone, I just want everyone to know that, like, if you're fair, you just have fair skin, you can't, like, turn from, like a Jensen to a Lacey, but you can build up that, like, resilience.
Yeah.
So
And
just
again, it
something
goes, like,
to
back in the day because the fair-skinned people were on the side of the world where the sun wasn't an issue.
they were they
It's
were
potent. And we're
mhm.
also meant to be outside every single day. So, like, we start, in April now, I start getting way more sun exposure.
Yeah.
I try to lay out in just shorts. And then as the year goes on, this is even something I talk about. Like, our sister, her kids are in their backyard naked starting in like April, and they never wear sunscreen. And, like, my daughter does go to daycare, and she's inside quite a bit more, which, yes, breaks my heart, but she is taking longer to, like, get accustomed to this. She's also fairer skinned like me for sure, but it's just, like, so interesting how if we just, like, live a normal life where we're outside all year, we're probably gonna be a lot better off. So get outside is all we're trying to say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. That's a really great way, probably the easiest way to improve your light environment is get outside and be aware of how much you're wearing your sunglasses and just try to dabble in not wearing them every now and then. But it's funny because 'cause I'll always wear them when we have boat days, and I'll just, like, catch myself, and I'll, like, take them off, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna take them off," and then it gets annoying because I'm, like, squinting, and all the other girls are looking cool with their sunglasses on, so I'll, like, put my sunglasses back on, but yeah, it's beneficial, it does make a difference, so okay, so maybe do we wanna just rapid fire things that you can do to improve your light environment? So, buy the orange glasses, focus on, like, changing your light bulbs out at night to maybe getting some red ones.
Even
Of
just, like, don't have lights on all the time. Like, this drives Brett crazy, but I'm like, "Do we have to have the overhead huge lights on while we're doing the dishes?" He's like, "Well, I can't see." I'm like, "You can see, you're just, like, being difficult." But just, like,
Literally, that
don't
happened
have
to me and Matt this morning. I, like,
so
went and turned off the overhead light. He's like, "I can't see." I'm like, "It's so bright in here, like, it's literally all the natural light is coming on. What do you mean you can't see?" It's a
I hate when they
constant
say, like, "I
battle.
can't," like, you literally can't see,
I'm
it's
like, "Oh,
pitch
really?
black.
It's pitch dark in here? You can't see anything?" Drives me insane.
Yeah, like,
So,
he's been
less
home
artificial
late.
light, more
Yeah.
natural light. We'd love
Yes.
that. No
Yes.
phone in the morning, no phone before bed.
Get outside
Stop
in the
wearing
sun as many
sunglasses all the
times as you
time.
can through the day. Black out your room as much as you can at night too, which we didn't really touch on, but I think, like,
Yeah.
it's very underrated to use, like, blackout. I don't know why people have, like, an issue with it. Like, get an eye mask, get some blackout curtains, because even if you wear an eye mask, if there's light coming in, your skin has those receptors too, and it disrupts melatonin production.
And even, like, as small as if you were to have a TV in your room and your TV would have, like, a little tiny, like, light sensor on it, or if you have, like a I don't know, fire smoke detector in your room, that's enough to send a signal, which is quite interesting. Or if you, like, wake up in the middle of the night, getting little plug-in red light, wall plugins can be really beneficial if you're, like, going to the washroom or, I don't know, have to go see your kid or your baby, that can be a good way to help with that as well. But I think that's basically it. I think something to just get across is a lot of people are gonna listen to this and maybe not think that they need to start with, like, I need to get a red light device and I need to get red light bulbs and I need to get blue light blocking glasses. But I would say start with just getting off your phone a little bit, turning off your lights, opening your windows, making your sleep environment darker. Start with the free things and you'll probably notice a huge difference. Like, I slowly started transitioning my light environment in terms of, like, my light bulbs, and it's made a huge difference. I love it, but if I wasn't doing all those things before, I wouldn't even wanna be using those light bulbs because it would just be, like, useless if I'm scrolling on my phone at the same time.
Yeah, under your red light bulbs, like,
Yeah, I'm like,
scrolling on your phone. Yeah, the
"Seriously?"
free things are definitely usually get the most bang for your buck because they're free. But it's just like with anything, pick one thing we said today and implement it and wait till you don't have to think about it anymore and then choose another. Because if you do try to overhaul your whole entire light environment tomorrow, you'll last probably 2 days and then you'll be back to how you're doing it. So just pick one, let it be easy. That was a big theme of our client open office hours is like one of the hardest parts about actually going and committing to a healing journey is you have to let it be easy, and it's very slow and it doesn't feel chaotic, and that's we all miss the chaos a little bit, but yeah, you gotta let it be easy, so just choose one thing and wait till you literally don't have to think about it, because over the course of your life, if it takes you 2 years to get the perfect light environment, that is gonna completely change your whole entire life. Like, it is insane the impact it will have on your health, so just let it take some time. There's no rush to get to the perfect light environment, but it's the consistency over time that makes a difference, so let it be easy and yeah.
Another thing that's free is, like we just went on a tangent about, is spending more time in the sun. So there's another one.
Yep,
Boom.
but use your brain
Yeah,
and don't come
don't be
at
an
us if you
idiot.
burn.
Yeah, as to quote Jensen, "Don't be an idiot."
And I'm
Don't be
saying
an
that because I
idiot.
call myself an idiot. Like, if I
Yeah,
burn, I'm like, "I'm an idiot. Like, this is my fault. I did this to myself. I was
yeah.
not being smart. Like, I'm an idiot." So, I'm not trying to call you guys all idiots if you've burned recently, but you probably have called yourself that, so it's fine.
Burn. Cool, okay, well, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for hanging out. If you guys enjoyed the episode or if you have any questions, let us know and rate, subscribe, and comment,
And, like, now that we're on YouTube, please,
please.
And get
please.
outside.
And get outside,
Bye.
touch the grass. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to The Wellness Effect. We're so grateful to be part of your wellness journey. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on Instagram for more tips, laughs, and real talk. We'll put all of our handles in the show notes. If you have questions or ideas for future episodes, slide into our DMs or send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep creating your own wellness effect.